Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulanding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
It's a warm reception to our studio here in Sarakunda. This is Star TV News with me, Maimuna Fadera. In the headlines tonight, residents of Banjul commend Barrow's government. TRRC clarifies issues on 2005 massacre. Tourism Minister continues engagements in rural Gambia. Gambia College ex-students support Kuma's treatment on the international scene. Trump pardons former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. UK borrowing to hit peacetime high amid COVID-19 emergency. Guinea opposition accused government of killing protesters. Well, those were the headlines. And now the news in details. Still on President Barrow's tour in Banjul on Wednesday, the residents of Banjul expressed excitement over President Barrow's government, saying that the implementation of Banjul Road's rehabilitation project is a manifestation of his love for the people of Banjul in particular and the Gambia at large. They made the remark while welcoming Barrow as he toured the city of Banjul to access the ongoing project sites. As Mariama Dem reports, the people of Banjul have promised to give their full support to President Barrow and his government.
The commendation came as a result of the Banjul rehabilitation project worth over $40 million funded by the government of the Gambia in turning the dilapidated city of Banjul into a standard one. The residents felt their city had been neglected over the past years, leaving the city in a troubled situation as it caused unpleasant living conditions for them. However, this conundrum has drastically changed as they cheered President Barrow for keeping the promise he made to them shortly after he assumed office in 2017. Adijaja Toure, a resident of Banjul, says the city has changed for better as their houses no longer flood and the streets are well taken care of. She thanks President Barrow for his hard work and for changing the livelihoods of the people of Banjul for better, and urged the residents of Banjul to continue supporting President Barrow and his agenda.
Sambi Banjul wecceeku na de léegi da ngay gomba sa boti nga takkale nga dox ci tali dara du la jot doo daanu kontaan ne kër yi du flotte kontaan ne Adama Barrow mu ngi liggéey.
The Banjul regional chairman of NPP, Baboucarr Mbaye Gueye, says Barrow has turned their nightmares into reality as he has changed the bad and bumpy roads of Banjul into smooth ones. Barrow has done what none of the previous presidents of the country did in terms of infrastructural development across the country, he added. As Chairman Gueye thanked Barrow for his work, he further stressed that Banjul is a no-go area for any opposition leader because the residents of Banjul are fully behind Barrow.
He said what President Adama Barrow has did for Banjul since the colonial days. Banjul have never seen this kind of thing. So Banjulans are not sleeping and they are not fools. They know exactly what is going on in Banjul. And His Excellency Adama Barrow, as you know, he's a Banjulian. His first wife, he married his first wife from Banjul, and then that is it. He's a Banjulian and he has Banjul in heart. That is why his first priority is Banjul. That's why we are behind him.
The elders of Banjul, under the leadership of Imam Ratib Cherno Ali Muska, welcomed Barrow during the tour as they prayed for him and his government to excel in their endeavors to develop and unite the country as they recited the Holy Quran 7 times. President Barrow has built over 600 kilometers of roads within his 4 years in office. Barrow believes that building of good roads is a milestone of development for any country, as it will change the livelihoods of the people, thus boosting the economic activities of the country. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News.
The Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission held a press conference at its building in Senegambia to clear doubts and clarify its stand on the matter of the 56 West African migrants, including 44 Ghanaians that were allegedly massacred in 2005 on the order of former President Jammeh. The press conference could not have come at a better time, as one of the survivors of the massacre, Martin Kayeri, alleged that have written to the TRRC, but they are yet to be called to the TRRC. Our own reporter, BINTA, COLLEY, keeps us updated.
The Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission is backed by an Act of Parliament in 2017 to look into the human rights violations that occurred during the former regime. Since it started its public hearing, many have appeared before the Commission, among who are victims and perpetrators. Speaking on behalf of the Commission, the lead counsel Issa Fall said they are doing everything in their capacity to communicate and bring people to the Commission who wish to appear before it to give their testimony, and that Ghanaians are not an exception. He also buttressed on their plans for Ghanaians.
We take very seriously any single loss of life, let alone the senseless massacre of 56 West Africans. I think it is known to everyone that as a result of the TRRC investigations and public hearings, those who carried out those massacres publicly confessed to having carried out the massacre and explained how all happened. This just goes to further buttress the seriousness to which the TRRC holds this particular issue. We hold very seriously all violation of rights, and we would continue to strive to give all victims the opportunity to come to the TRRC and to talk about their own victimization. We have not completed our investigation of the massacre of the West African migrants. We've done the first part, which is to bring out the evidence of the junglers who carried out the killings. And I think that put to rest the question as to whether those migrants died and where they were killed and by whom they were killed. But of course, there are certain things that we still need to do in order to finish this investigation.
Mr. Fall added that they will not follow the dictates of any individual, as they will do their work in line with what they are mandated to do.
We have informed them, I have personally informed them, that we would call about 5 witnesses from Ghana, and we've told them the type of witnesses we expect to call, including Kayeri himself to be a witness. We have also informed them on the Gambian side.
He denied the allegation that they did not give the needed attention to the Ghanaians, as alleged by Martin Kayeri, a survivor of the tragic 2005 massacre that took place in the Gambia.
I expected that perhaps those communications would have been extended to others in Ghana who may be interested in this, but it appears that that has not happened for one reason or another. But in any case, the TRRC has a very detailed plan as to what it expects to do, and that plan is being implemented. The investigations are ongoing. But I would say it quite clearly that the TRRC would not dance to the tune of any individual or institution. We would not be directed to or dictated by anyone as to what to do or how to do our work. We would do it to the best of our ability. We would do what we believe is right. We would do what we believe is what we should do in order to discharge our responsibilities under the Act. and we do it diligently, professionally, and to the best of our abilities.
According to Mr. Fall, they are optimistic that after the NIA hearing, the 2005 victims hearing will follow suit. He also said the NIA hearings they are doing have many categories. Fall added that the Ndurcham 2006 coup are things that fall under NIA and will also take time to finish. Star TV News, I am BINTA COLLEY.
The Arts and Culture Minister continues his nationwide tour on tourist attraction areas in the rural Gambia. The goal is to boost ecotourism and to promote local culture in the provinces. Modu El-Baji has more.
It was a loaded itinerary to the Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture in his visit to a tourist attraction site in the rural Gambia. However, Ahmad Nkeba and his delegation maneuvered through the bushy forest to access the Mango Park obelisk in Sami Karantaba. Road access to the area is one of the challenges most visitors endure during their trips to the obelisk. However, the government of the Gambia plans to address it through the Tourism Ministry.
I think Mango Park will add value to that. Yes. Therefore, access becomes very important. That means we need an access road. Part of the BO2 you are preparing for here. I think what we need to do now is to see how we can also collaborate with the NRA, through Ministry of Works, to have an access road.
Honorable Ba revealed that a motel will be built to add value to the Mango Park obelisk. The Director General of the National Center for Arts and Culture, Hasimu Sise, underscored the importance of the obelisk in the history of the Gambia.
This was, Same Karantaba. Yes, Same Karantaba. This was erected by Governor Sir Hilary Blott in 1944 to commemorate the anniversary of Mango Park's memorial voyage to find the source of the river Niger. But he began the journey here in 1795, in May 1795. Then after some months, the journey failed because the potters robbed of him of his properties. Then he went back to England and prepared again and came back in 1805. And then he again got all the things he needed: rice, water supply, medicine, potters, boats, and then he set out from here again to find the source of the river Niger. And then he almost succeeded, but he was killed in present-day Port Harcourt, just a few kilometers before the source of the river Niger. But what this site is important because it shows Gambia's contribution to the development of exploration in the 18th and 19th century.
The delegation then drove to Kaseokunda, where they inspected the Musa Molo tomb. The minister also revealed plans to modernize the tomb. The minister's entourage visited the Sotuma Eco Camp, which is under construction. On Monday, he visited Fatoto Bumba hunting camp. On Wednesday, the minister began his site visit at Birkama's craft market, where he inspected the facilities. He also revealed plans to upgrade the craft market and assured the market authorities of his government support. From Birkama Craft Market, the minister's delegation continued to Makasutu Cultural Forest, which is undergoing refurbishment. The Andalai Camp and Tumani Tenda were also part of the places the tourism minister visited. Reporting for Star TV, this is Modu El-Baji.
The Gambia College Early Childhood Development ex-students on Wednesday presented a cash amount of $70,000 to Kumbagay, who has developed side problems, and according to medical report, she needs urgent overseas treatment. Hadijaja reports.
Kumbagay is a 28-year-old young lady and a teacher by profession. She has developed side problems, and according to a medical report, she needs urgent overseas treatment. If not, she may end up being blind. It is in this regard that an association and colleagues in the same field, they have been working tirelessly to raise funds to support her overseas medical treatment. Veronique Mendy, President of Early Childhood Development ex-students, said as students of the Gambia College and teachers, they felt it so much to see their fellow teacher in a bad condition. So they deem it necessary to help Kumbagay in the difficult moments she finds herself.
Our fellow teacher, we felt it so much because it's so painful seeing our fellow colleague and as well as a teacher. You never know, maybe Kumba, those children that she will teach, you never know what will happen. Maybe from those children, you can get a president from those children. From those children, you can get a minister. So right now, Kumba is sitting, doing nothing. She's no more doing any teaching. She's just there sitting.
She further urged all Gambians, especially teachers, to come on board in order to help Kumba regain her health so that she can go back to the field. Some hospitals in Turkey and India have been contacted, and what they requested is about $15,000. The condition Kumba is living is very critical. As a matter of fact, she has been living with the illness for a long time. Saini Jiba calls on government to look into the situation of Kumba because she needs urgent help for treatment.
And the saddest part of it is that Kumba has less than 3 weeks to go. I am calling on the Gambian head of state to save the life of this young lady. She needs her sight. She has 3 weeks more to go, because it was about 2 months and already 2 months have elapsed, which means you are in another week, so you are talking about something like less than 3 weeks. So we need the support of the government to come out.
He further stated that they will support Kumba till the end, and he thanked all those who contributed in one way or the other to see that Kumba gets back to her feet. Idrissa Jatta, a family member, also thanked all the students of the Gambia College and others who immensely helped them for Kumba to travel abroad for her treatment. For Star TV News, I am Hadijaju.
Well, those were the local stories. We'll be back with the international news after the short break. Please stay with us.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulanding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company, Gosh Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gosh Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gosh on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gosh Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.global.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh.
Welcome back. After the short commercial break, we now look at the news beyond our borders. U.S. President Donald Trump has pardoned his former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, who pleaded guilty to lying about his Russian contacts. It comes 8 weeks before Trump leaves the White House, and the investigation into alleged Russian meddling into 2016 elections have cast a shadow over the president's term. President-elect Joe Biden is pressing on with his transition plans, urging Americans to take precautions over COVID-19 during the Thanksgiving holiday. Al Jazeera's ROSILAND Jordan reports from the Washington, D.C., the U.S.
Well, thank you very much.
Even as he refuses to concede that he lost re-election to Joe Biden, U.S. President Donald Trump gave a gift to his first national security advisor, General Michael Flynn. A pardon for Flynn's crimes, namely for lying to federal investigators about his contacts with the former Russian ambassador to the U.S., Sergei Kislyak. Flynn's case was part of a legal black cloud that hung over Trump's entire presidency. Flynn's son responded on the conservative social media site Parler. "Thank you from the bottom of my heart, President Trump," and a big middle finger to Judge Emmett Sullivan. And Trump's ally, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, called Flynn a political victim. Meantime, Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff blasted Trump's decision. It's no surprise Trump would go out as he came in, crooked to the end. Earlier, Trump called into a hearing convened by Pennsylvania Republicans to see whether President-elect Joe Biden's victory can be thrown out.
This election was rigged, and we can't let that happen. We can't let it happen for our country. And this election has to be turned around because we won Pennsylvania by a lot, and we won all of these swing states by a lot. Anybody watching television the night of the election was saying, "Wow, I was called by the biggest political people. Congratulations, sir, on a big win." And all of a sudden, ballots were dumped all over the place, and a lot of horrible things happen.
Newer, bolder, more compassionate chapter.
Trump's complaints about politics, a far cry from the incoming administration's call for national unity and resilience on the eve of the U.S.'s secular holiday, Thanksgiving. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris and her husband visited a Washington food bank, while Biden delivered a speech calling on Americans to find their resilience in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic.
This is the moment where we need to steel our spines, redouble our efforts, and recommit ourselves to the fight. Let's remember, we're all in this together.
Joe Biden's call for reconciliation and unity, a marked contrast in both style and substance from that of Donald Trump. Rosalind Jordan, Al Jazeera, the White House.
The UK is cutting billions of dollars from its overseas aid budget, saying it can no longer afford to meet its legal obligations because of the pandemic. The decision was announced by Chancellor Rishi Sunak, but has been widely criticized as a moral failure. Al Jazeera's Paul Brenham reports from the Whitehall, London, UK.
The UK's commitment to spend 0.7% of its gross domestic product on overseas aid is a promise enshrined in British law. And it has helped fund vaccination programmes, education initiatives, poverty relief and refugee support all around the world. The amount spent on aid is barely 1/10 of what is spent each year on the UK Health Service. Announcing a reduction to 0.5% of GDP, the Chancellor acknowledged it was a difficult decision.
I have listened with great respect to those who have argued passionately to retain this target. But at a time of unprecedented crisis, government must make tough choices.
The scope and the political independence of the UK's overseas development work has been fundamentally changed since Boris Johnson decided to merge the Foreign Office and International Development back in September, a move that some critics described as a hostile takeover of the overseas aid budget. Now cutting some $4 billion from that aid budget has been criticised as a moral failure.
We got rich of a long and complex history of relations with the global south, a long history of colonization, of extraction, of fossil fuels, of exploitation. We have a moral duty to the world to redistribute a small proportion of our wealth.
But earlier this year, Boris Johnson complained that British aid was being seen as a giant cash machine in the sky, and he demanded value for money. And despite the aid cuts, the Prime Minister insists Britain is still a strong donor nation.
On any view, where this country is one of the biggest investors donors overseas in all its forms. I think we're the second biggest in the G7 on any view, in whether in percentage terms or in cash terms, and that will continue.
In a year in which the World Bank estimates that COVID-19 will push around 100 million people into extreme poverty, the UK's position is under question.
We've prided ourselves over the last decade or two on being a development superpower, if you like, and this seems to cut across that without there being much of a clear strategic or humanitarian basis for that.
It's bad news for the UK's global standing. Next year, the UK is hosting the G7, it's hosting the UN's Climate Change Summit. It's going to be very difficult for the UK to ask other countries to do more when the UK is cutting back its own aid budget.
There is wide recognition that UK overseas aid could be made more streamlined, better targeted and more effective. And $13 billion is still a significant budget to work with. But scaling back Britain's support for the world's poor and needy is a controversial decision at a sensitive time. Paul Brennan, Al Jazeera, Whitehall.
Hundreds of thousands of Guineans stranded in Senegal are unable to go home after political violence forced them to flee. President Alpha Condé was re-elected for a third term last month, but the opposition says the poll was rigid. Human rights groups says that more than 40 people were either killed from bullet wounds or died in police custody. Guinea's security minister denies any wrongdoing, accusing human rights groups of tarnishing his country's image. Al Jazeera's Nicholas Hake reports from Dakar, Senegal.
Sheriff Abdallah is in hiding, fearing for his life.
The government accuses him of creating unrest at home. As president of Guinea's Traders Union, he's calling on commerce to cease in protest against what he describes as a fraudulent election in which President Alpha Condé won a third mandate. Abdallah has been living in neighboring Senegal since last month's election.
I'm scared to go home to my own country where there are attacks and arbitrary arrests. As trade union leader, I can't stand by and let this injustice take place and tolerate what is happening.
The family of 68-year-old Ibrahim Asso say he was tortured to death by security forces after spending 3 weeks in police custody for protesting against Condé's victory.
We were all there when security forces and men carrying machetes and bats entered the house. That's when we fled. The security forces are meant to protect us, not kill us.
Protests are happening across the country with people calling for justice and defying a government ban on demonstrations. Human rights groups believe more than 50 people were either killed from bullet wounds or died in police custody. Guinea's security minister denies any wrongdoing, accusing human rights groups of tarnishing his country's image.
This is all fake news. There's an ongoing investigation. 20 autopsies have been made showing that bullets were not shot on people, but inserted in the bodies. It's irresponsible to say that the government does not care for the victims and fuels anger.
Since the presidential election, Guinea is on high alert with security forces closing land borders with neighboring countries, including Senegal, home to a large Guinean community. And so trade between the two countries is stalling. Hundreds of thousands of Guineans are stranded here, unable to return home to a country where political violence is escalating. Sheriff Abdallah hopes Guineans will eventually break free from Alpha Condé's rule and the police killings will stop so he can finally return home. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera, Dakar.
And before we end the news, a quick recap of our main headlines. Residents of Banjul comment Barrow's government. TRRC clarifies issues on 2005 massacre. Tourism Minister continues engagements in rural Gambia. Gambia College ex-students support Kumba's treatment on the international scene. Trump pardons former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. UK borrowing to hit peacetime high amid COVID-19 emergency. Guinea opposition accused government of killing protesters. Well, that's all for this edition of the news. To enjoy the rest of our programs, join us tomorrow for more news.